Again, Bitcoin having a good move, although it is pulling back just a hair. So we got to just kind of keep an eye on this.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. In this video, let's discuss these topics and more.
Let's take a look at what we have. So if we look at the markets here, guys, check this out. The Dow up almost 500 points on the day. The NASDAQ trading up almost 500 as well, 2.65%. That is a huge, huge move. All right, huge, huge move here. Now, if we look at the S&P, up about 90 points, 1.6%. Even oil is getting a big move today, up $2, and gold is bouncing as well, up 29. So it's full-on money flowing into everything in the markets. Bitcoin is also having a bounce. Now, the key to Bitcoin, it looks like it's going to confirm above that infamous pivot line. And again, if it does, and we'll talk about that chart, we'll look at that in just 1 second, that is very, very bullish for Bitcoin in the short term, as long as it holds and doesn't reconfirm back below the pivot line. Look at the sea of green right up here, all right? So lots of green, especially electronic technology right here. Apple up 4%, NVIDIA up 4.5%. When you have these two stocks up, that's like, what is that, $7 trillion almost, or $6 trillion in market cap. Almost impossible for the NASDAQ to be down. Add in 2% from Microsoft, 2% for Google. Meta having a big day, up 4.5%. These are all those trillion-dollar companies. Add Amazon in there at 1.72. Market had no chance with those type of gains to go down today. All right, looking across the board, the one thing that's popping out, this is a Walmart right here. Walmart is red on the day. Walmart has been a defensive name. So when people are concerned, they were buying Walmart. Walmart went vertical. If you look at that chart, it's vertical to the upside, but now you're seeing kind of an un-de-risking, right? So people are moving back into the hot stocks over here. Therefore, Walmart is seeing a down day today. You can also see some of the financials were kind of defensive as well, and you have some red over here in the financials. So really, again, lots of green in technology. That's the biggest gainer of the week. All right, follow me back here. Let's take a look at some of these charts as we go through today. So the S&P 500, if we flip to the intraday action here, I want to just go over that. In fact, I'm going to show yesterday's Fed decision on it so we just get our bases covered here, all right? Bear with me as I just get that chart up here. All right, so let's follow me back here. So what we have on the chart of the S&P 500, this was yesterday's big initial pop on the S&P on the 10-minute chart when we saw the Federal Reserve, or they announced a 50 basis point cut. Then again, we saw the markets fading, and it looked, and even I talked about this. I said, guys, you know, the close on the market is very tenuous here, right? Let me get rid of these other lines here. But basically, again, you had a market that was hanging on by a thread. And you know those institutions had some sort of conference call last night where they're like, hey, guys, we can't allow, you know, I don't want to pay out this much money if the markets crap out just before options X. I don't want to be paying out all these puts. Okay, let's switch the narrative. Boom, right? There it goes, right? And you can see it right here. This was the 7:50 10-minute candle, 7:50 p.m. Eastern time. Look at that move. Here's your 4 a.m. candle, and then the rest was just sideways to slightly up chop as retail just kept things rolling here. Classic manipulation, in my opinion. But it is what it is at this point, right? Well, our job is to ultimately trade it. The one thing I would say, and I said this before, guys, is look for the markets to probably hold up tomorrow. I could see it being a pause day. But starting next week, once Options X is out of the way, be very, very careful. We could see a reversion back down, especially if we get any sort of economic data that starts showing weakness out there. Again, Federal Reserve trying to spin it yesterday in the press conference with Jerome Powell. But again, any sort of weak economic news and trouble will be brewing in the stock market and risk assets. All right, couple stocks I just wanted to go over here. Tesla's having a monster day today. Beautiful move up. One level to watch on Tesla. Let's take a look here, right? So if we look at Tesla, this has been a level. So one of the charts that I like to show you guys is this one right here. So we have this sort of pattern, right? That's what we call a wedge pattern, but it's actually a bullish wedge. A lot of people would be like, oh, isn't that bearish from this move down? Well, yes, but the flat top actually creates, at least in the short term, a potential move up. Where do you go? There's a gap fill right here, guys, and that's essentially where we've gone today. Now, again, you are into some resistance on Tesla here. Can it push through? Can it retest this high? That would be your next big resistance. But just keep an eye on this zone right here tomorrow. Yeah, you're above it right now, but let's watch and see where that trades in the next day or so.
Bitcoin is struggling to break above the $65,000 resistance level, despite favorable macroeconomic factors, like the Federal Reserve's interest rate cut. Traders are watching key levels closely, as sustained spot volume or a breakout above $66,300 could signal a major shift in market momentum. Bitcoin remains pinned under $65,000 despite reaching $64,133 this week. This resistance is critical for any potential rally to new highs. Although Bitcoin has shown volatility, spot volumes remain low, and much of the recent price action is driven by futures liquidations rather than sustained buying. The Federal Reserve's 50 basis point interest rate cut gave markets a lift, with Bitcoin joining gold and the S&P 500 in responding positively, but no clear breakout followed. Bitcoin's price action continues to be influenced by futures and options markets. A breakout above the 200-day moving average at $64,000 could trigger short liquidations and push the price higher. Bitcoin must secure a daily close above $66,300 to break through its descending trend line and begin a potential shift in the higher timeframe market structure. Traders are closely watching the $64,000 to $66,000 zone, as a decisive break could signal a new bullish phase for Bitcoin.
It looks like at this point it's going to confirm regardless. So that's going to confirm. But you can see there's a little tail on top as price is coming back in. But here was your close yesterday. We did close over the pivot line. Here's your confirmation today, assuming it closes above yesterday's high. It confirms. What you look for then is consolidation back to the pivot line, and then boom. That's what I would look for. Okay? Now, listen, is it possible that it gets back below the pivot line and reconfirms? Yes, of course it's possible. Anything is possible. But the kicker is, if you buy here and it reconfirms below, you stop out. Done. You just move out of the trade. That's the beauty of knowing the confirmation signal. Once it reconfirms, or if it does, I should say, then it starts favoring down here. So you want to get the heck out right in this range, take the small loss, move on. The probabilities, though, will favor this type of move. My only concern with crypto, and we're seeing the altcoins doing really, really well today as well, is that it's on the back of risk on in the stock market. At some point, crypto needs to kind of stabilize, especially the altcoins, and be able to move on their own. It does make me worried if the stock market were to sell off next week. Does that mean that Bitcoin and the altcoins fall right back to the wayside and fall to the downside? All right, follow me back. We're going to go over a couple more charts here on the action here at trading the close. And again, what we're going to look at now is the gold chart. So let me bring that up, and we're going to take a quick gander. Gold having a good bounce here, right? So if we look at gold here, we're still at resistance, even though it's having a good bounce. Tons of resistance right there. It's a trend line right there. You got your wedge pattern still at resistance. I actually nibbled on a few minor shorts today, and not minor, meaning small, like miners, like gold miner shorts. So again, nibbling there just because, again, I'm having signals on stuff like Newmont Mining, GDX. A lot of these things are up into resistance. And you might say, oh, that's sacrilege. Gareth's been bullish on gold, and he's even said it's going higher. And the answer is yes, you're right. I have said gold's going higher, and I still believe that. Doesn't mean in a short-term trade I can't move to the downside. Just a good example of this, guys. So if you watch the game plan on Monday, I debuted an options trade that I took, and I showed it in my live account. 900 contracts, FXI. The FXI is the Chinese ETF, right? I sold it today for about $60K, but that's irrelevant. The point being that ultimately that was a short-term trade. Get in, get out. Great move this week in the China names, and I wanted to bank that money. So there's different time frames, all right? So if you ask me, do I still have long-term holds on gold? The answer is yeah. Of course I have exposure, but that doesn't mean in the interim I'm not going to take a little bit of a trade and look for just a little bit of a dip and make some cash on the side like that. All right, little things like that, very important to remember. A lot of people always try to pigeonhole me into, oh, well, he said this, but no, it's all about time frame. You know, you can be a day trader. All you care about is your intraday action. You can be a swing trader. You hold something for a couple days, a week, a month, and then you can be a long-term investor, and you hold things for 12, 18, 24, or years. Those are all different time frames to trade.
A dormant Bitcoin wallet containing 50 BTC, worth $3.1 million, was activated for the first time in over 14 years. These Satoshi-era coins date back to the early days of Bitcoin when its creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, was still active in the community. The wallet, holding Bitcoin worth $3.1 million at current prices, has remained untouched since 2010, a period when Bitcoin was still in its infancy. Transactions from this era are uncommon because Bitcoin had little attention back then, and mining was done using personal computers rather than specialized hardware. While these coins originate from the time Nakamoto was still active, it's improbable that the transfer is linked to the mysterious Bitcoin creator. September saw an increase in reactivations of long-dormant Bitcoin wallets, including wallets from as early as 2009, potentially linked to the very first miners. The timing of these transfers has stirred discussions in the crypto world, though their exact significance remains speculative. After a post predicting Bitcoin's endless rise went viral, Peter Schiff, a known Bitcoin critic, responded by suggesting it's another reason to sell. Schiff's consistent opposition to Bitcoin, despite his inaccurate 2018 prediction, continues to spark debate about his true motives. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.